welcome to another episode of the Personal PR Show. And today we are here with Alexandria. Hello, Alexandria. How are you?
I am awesome. Always excited to be making magic with JFab.
That's an honor for me as well. We connected recently. It was love at first sight or love on the first Zoom call. What do you think?
I agree. It was love at first Zoom.
Exactly. Oh my God, guys, we only talked for like 35 minutes, but we already created like 1,490 projects for the next 5 years, right?
Exactly. That's exactly how many and exactly how it went down.
Absolutely. And you connected me with the amazing J Barb as well, and her friend and business partner, Amanda, and they were on the Personal PR Show 2 days ago. Incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. I love the synergy. I love the connection. And that's the beauty of really being on stage and speaking a message, right? And which is what we're going to go into today. It even goes beyond just the professional stage. It can even be down to one-to-one connections and just having that mindset and mentality. So
totally. I love that. Exactly. So you mentioned already the topic of our conversation today. I will just recite the title, for everybody to know how speaking on stages is complementary to PR to skyrocket your authority. So this is going to be the topic of today's live. And of course, Alexandra is super qualified for this because she is an international public speaker and she's been for quite a while, although she's super young, but she studied like really, really. When did you start? I don't know, in kindergarten, probably.
18. I was public speaking when I was 18. I know that's crazy because everyone that age is usually scared shitless of the stage. And they're like, I want nothing to do with that. But I mean, I just knew I had this gift and I wanted to start, getting ahead way younger so I could really step into that mastery, right? It's like when Michael Jordan knew he was made for the basketball court and he was ready to start doing his thing, he had to get on the, start getting ahead. So I feel lucky that I got started super young.
Yes, I mean, to your credit, I have to say, because you're the one who put in all of the courage and all of the resources as well, right? Because it takes time to build a public speaking career, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of consistency, right? With anything, the more you do it, the better you get. So it really is not just speaking once or a couple times here and there and expecting you to be, to be this great speaker. It really takes, like you said, that courage, that consistency, and putting yourself out there no matter what, even if you trip on your words, even if you botched a talk. I've done that plenty of times. You got to pick yourself back up and you got to keep going and you will get better and really become a master.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I love that. Yes. And by the way, before we get started and really get into the nitty-gritty of public speaking in order to establish your authority, Alexandra, would you like to share with us where you are based? Because I see that it looks like summertime where you are, whereas it's winter over here in Europe.
Yeah, it's summertime where I'm at all the time. I live in Miami, Florida in the States. So if anyone's here, let me know. But yeah, it's always beautiful and sunshiny here. And I really, really love it.
That's amazing. Yes, please enjoy it for us as well. Yes. That's awesome. So Alexandra, you said that you started very early with your public speaking career. You were only 18. That is amazing. And today, I'm not going to ask you for your age, but let's say you're not 18 anymore. So you do have a couple of years under your belt of experience, of course. And today you still have, let's say, a particular angle to public speaking, don't you?
Yeah, through doing this myself, right, and sharing my speaking gift with the world, and I realize it's so much more than just speaking on a stage. It's so much more than looking at it as another way to generate revenue in your business. To me, that stage is a platform of significance, of influence, of power, and we actually get to wield that and use power and influence as a force for good. And I really see the stage as this place that can transform you from the inside out into what I call a thought leader. But I always joke, I'm like, you're not an entrepreneur running a business anymore. You hang out with me, that's last year. You're a thought leader furthering a movement. People want to get behind thought leaders. People want to be a part of movements. And the stage, it's so much more than just delivering a talk and getting some clients from it. It's this place where you get to become this person of influence. And man, we need more positive influence in leadership positions right now in the world.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Oh my God. I love all of these idea of, authority and impact and influence. You said it. And there's so much more. I also recommend to entrepreneurs to actually become thought leaders and to actually elevate their brand from expert to thought leader, right? And I come from the public relations angle, of course, because it's all about visibility. It's all about newsworthiness, right? So if you are a thought leader rather than just an entrepreneur, then of course you are newsworthy, especially if you have a breakthrough idea, which is the very foundation of thought leadership, right? So I come from that angle of visibility. You come from the angle of authority. And we found, when we were talking last week, that actually the two things are complementary. Hence the title of this live today, right? So how would you say that public speaking and PR are complementary, in order to establish your authority and your visibility? And
well, I think you hit it right on the head, right? There's element. I see it as tentacles of like an octopus, right? We have the head of the octopus, which is the thought leadership, and then we have all these tentacles, and we want to be visible. We want to get in front of as many people as we can to share our message. But we want authority as at the foundation of our visibility. To me, we don't just want to get in front of anyone and everyone. We want to be getting in front of the right people that can receive what we have to say, that can be power players in our story, that can want to work with us, want to promote us, want to refer us, right? We want to just not be speaking to speak. We want to be speaking to move. So I see authority, right? That stage builds ultimate authority because of just how the platform works, right? If we could look at leaders throughout history, right? What are they on? They're on a stage. The, authority and significance and importance and leadership are just naturally built into the stage. So the way that I see it complementing PR and why I think it skyrockets your PR efforts is now people who are wanting to book people in media placements and podcasts and radio shows and TV shows, guess who they're looking for? They're going to turn to people that are on the stage. Ooh, I want to book that person. They know what they're talking about. They've been through it, right? They have in the arena experience. So I see it hand in hand that you speaking on stage is going to bolster your authority and your credibility, which makes you more PR worthy, right? They're going to want to write articles on you. They're going to want to book you for things. So I couldn't imagine these two not working hand in hand. So to me, it's like, if you want to do PR first, great. If you want to do stages first, great. But keep those top of mind and see how it's kind of like a seesaw, and they're feeding each other. And the more that you build that credibility and authority, it's only going to get you placed in more media.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you so much for bringing this up. And this is something that I do with students as well. I always tell them, so PR, let's say the very essence of PR is actually to get featured on third-party channels, which we also call earned media, right? Because you don't buy it and it's not your own. Like in marketing, you just buy advertising space, or it's not even your own channels that you have control on what you post on your Instagram, right? So basically PR is being featured on third-party channels without paying for it. And that's why we call it earned media. And when we talk about earned media, I always recommend to every single one of my students to actually get themselves on a stage. At least, and it doesn't matter what kind of stage. Of course, we want to start with a TEDx talk, of course. And of course, we want to get to a TEDx talk with time as well. But in the beginning, just book yourself on any stage, and then you will climb let's say, the pyramid from there. Is this something that you recommend as well to your students? Like at the beginning, just put yourself on any stage, and then you will climb the ladder?
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely. Everyone, I was the motivational speaker friend in college. I started right in my backyard. I was speaking to all my college friends and hyping them up and motivating them. So you got to start somewhere. I think we get, I feel like you'll really resonate with this, Jess, is sometimes we get starry-eyed, right? We see the TEDx, we see the Tony Robbins, we see Oprah, and we're like, oh, I want to be that. You know how hard they had to work to get to that level of influence? Trust me, you'll get there. If you want to be at that status and you are committed and devoted and determined, you'll get there. But to your point, you got to start small, right? And I say quotes because sometimes the small things can give you huge impact, can yield a huge profit for you, can yield so many things. So start with my recommendation always start with what's like right in your field. What's in your backyard? What's within a 5 to 10 mile radius of where you live? What podcasts are right within your network, right? What networking events or leadership groups? I mean, you'd be shocked at what's right under your nose, but you don't even see it, right? If we don't have it in our awareness, we're gonna look right by it. But I will promise you that if you start there, it'll be stepping stones to get you on the larger, more influential stages. But we got to stay humble and we got to start from the ground up, and that will build sustainable influence.
Oh my God, I love the concept of sustainable influence. This is one of your breakthrough ideas of your thought leadership.
I know. I've never said those two words together, so I'm already having aha moments.
Exactly.
I know, I got to write that down.
Absolutely. Oh my God, your neologism, it's great when you coin a new word. It's absolutely conducive to thought leadership, right? I mean, it is kind of expected that you come up with a new concept, a breakthrough idea, and actually you create a, let's say, a framework, or even you create a word to express it, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. And another thing that I love, Alexandria, is that when you were just a few seconds ago, you mentioned that we need to practice. And at the very beginning, it doesn't matter where we practice. The most important thing is that we practice, right? You also mentioned podcasts, for example. And this is actually a question that I was going to ask you. Now I don't need to ask it to you anymore. But do you think that actually speaking online could be conducive to speaking on a stage? I'm not saying that it's exactly the same thing, but do you think that maybe it already gives you a certain amount of practice?
Oh, absolutely. And especially with the pandemic of us going to fully virtual speaking for probably close to a year, you can really leverage speaking virtually, speaking online, podcasts, YouTube shows, Facebook Live shows, something just like, Jess and I are doing right here. And that actually can get you on physical in-person stages. So you really, just like we want to leverage PR and speaking, we want to be leveraging virtual and online speaking with in-person speaking as well. I've had virtual speaking engagements land me in-person speaking engagements. So never write something off, right? We never want to get too big for our britches. We never want to get too big for a stage, because I'm telling you, you never know where that will take you. You never know what, Inc. 5000 CEO is in the room watching you, listening to you, and then comes up to you and wants to hire you, right? You never know what book publisher is in the back of the room scouting new talent, right? I've heard it all, right? All these crazy things have happened. So, and it can happen now online. So never write any stage off. To me, the strategy is you want to make sure you're getting in the right rooms with the right people. That's it. Make sure you're getting in rooms of your ideal audience, and you know that you're going to be speaking a message that's going to resonate with them and that's going to inspire them to do something. That's how we know every stage that we are in, whether it's a podcast to a 5,000 person conference and everything in between. That's how we know it's going to pay off.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love this. Definitely. Wow. This is so much in common with PR as well, because it's all about the audience, of course. So before we craft any message, any story, we always think about the audience, definitely. Oh my God, this is amazing. And let's talk about your personal experience for a second, Alexandria. Let's talk about maybe, I don't know, maybe the coolest stage that you have spoken on, or maybe the funniest story from your experience, because I mean, you've been speaking for a few years, but like really continuously. I don't know, maybe you're speaking nearly every single day, right?
I'm close to 200 stages that I've spoken on at this point. So I know. So lots of just in the arena, doing the thing over and over and over again. Well, of course, I mean, one of the coolest, most badass stages I spoke on was the TEDx stage. Officially becoming a TEDx speaker is such a great accolade for thought leaders. So that was an incredible experience. It was during, we were still coming out of the COVID era. So I didn't have a live audience, but I had my best friend, other Jess. She was there. She took a picture. She was like my photographer. I had the AV people. I was like, all right, people, you're my live audience. So let's go. So I'd say that was, just a fun, making the best out of the situation and circumstance that we were all in. You know, another stage that I spoke on, it's not a stage that anyone would know. I don't even know that they still do the event, but it was an event called Activate Purpose. And I was talking on behalf of my business consulting firm. It's called Purpose Pioneers. And I was talking all about how to lead with values and create a purpose-driven organization. And I gave a very tactical and very just gritty and real framework. And it was one of my best talks at that time. This was like 5 years ago. And I'll never forget when I was done, right? I'm not knowing what's going to happen, right? I deliver my talk and I just leave it up to the universe. I'm like, whatever's supposed to happen, happens. And people were coming up to me and they were like looking at me like I was an alien. They were like, who are you? Like, what? Like, I feel like they wanted to like touch me. I'm like, where did you come from? What are you saying? Like, it was that. And I share that because it was they had such a profound impact on them from what I said and what I spoke on. And they were just like, you little alien creature, what are you? Who are you? And I ended up landing some really great clients from that. And I got to actually work with a celebrity's twin brother. So that was a pretty cool experience.
Ooh, you can't tell us who those two.
I mean, I don't want to blast his name all over the internet, but it was a very well-known celebrity's twin brother. And I was like, wait, what the heck's going on here? This is crazy. So yeah, crazy stuff happens on stage. You never know who you're going to get in front of. And if you get up on there and you speak from the heart and you share something that can really make an imprint in people, they are going to come up to you mesmerized and blown away and just not even knowing what to do, to the point where they think you're like an alien.
Oh my God, it's so funny. But we've talked about the highs, Alexandra. Let's talk about the lows for a second, if you don't mind. What do you think was, let's say, your most difficult situation on stage, and how did you overcome it? What did you learn from this experience?
Oh my goodness. So yeah, my stage moment that I just totally botched, I have it like etched in my brain. I was still in college. And I actually started a tech company in college. So I was using speaking to get this tech company out there to the world. I was doing pitch competitions. Oh, it was so much fun. And I had signed up for or got accepted for a pitch competition in Tampa, Florida. Drove down there. I had like a whole group of friends with me, and the front row, I walk up on stage to do I had like 3 minutes to do this pitch. Talk about learning how to speak in a very small amount of time. Go do pitch competitions. You will be challenged. It's really great. So I had like all my friends in the front row. This one girl, her name was Alyssa. She had my phone up ready to record me. And I get up on stage and I open my mouth. I say 2 sentences and I just freeze. I'm just frozen. Nothing's coming out. And poor Alyssa, I like look over and I could just see her like put the phone down, but like slide. I'm like, oh no. And it was just like, she was just like, I'm so sorry. I want to console you right now. And I don't want to get this on film because you're not going to want to see it. And I was just frozen. And I honestly just had to sit there frozen until it came back to me. And I did the best that I could for the remaining time. But, you know, my biggest lesson out of that is 2 things. Number 1, whenever the uncomfortability happens, sit in it. Don't run away. I could have easily just walked off stage, but I sat in it. So when the discomfort arises, it always will. And even if you're I was in front of probably 100 people, doesn't matter. Just sit in it and let that moment happen. And then the second thing I learned was I got up there and I was speaking from my mind, right? If it's not in here, you won't be able to improvise, right? Because I was trying to memorize and read from a script. And the way our brain works is it's word for word. So when I don't remember that next word, I'm out. But if I'm speaking a message from the heart, if I forget something, I can keep going. I can improvise. I can go here. I can go there. So that was a really big wake-up call early on in my speaking career to never speak from here, because this will get you frozen and stuck, and always speak from the heart and let that lead me where it wants to go.
Oh my God, Alexandra, I love this distinction because I've noticed as well that I prefer actually speaking off the cuff instead of, having a script, because otherwise I will get nervous and then I will forget everything. Even if I really learned it by heart, then when I go live, then I forget it. So I don't even prepare usually, which is not always advisable for every single context, but this is what I usually do. But the distinction that I always made was between speaking off the cuff and speaking from a script, whereas you made this distinction, which works even better. It's even better to understand between the brain and the head and the heart. This is so good also, because when we're talking about the heart, we're also talking about emotions, and we know that basically we need to reach people on an emotional level, of course on a rational level as well, when we're talking about our expertise, competence, thought leadership as well, of course, but at the same time we want to reach them on an emotional level as well, because we know that actually we make decisions emotionally and then we justify them rationally. So thank you so much for bringing up this metaphor, because it's really amazing.
I actually think you'll love this. My whole philosophy is structure and flow, right? Because structure is for our mind and flow is for our heart. We don't want to be either or. We don't want to show up with a script, and we also don't want to show up completely unprepared, right? We want to actually be in the sweet spot of how can I just have a simple structure so my mind can wrap my mind around this, and I can show up prepared so I know that I'm not just going to be speaking this way and speaking this way, right? Like off the cuff is great, but a whole talk that's off the cuff, at a conference, the audience is going to be like, where are we? What's going on? I'm confused. So we want to hold space for those off the cuff moments, but we want to have a generally structured talk. I say structured because it's not linear. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not a process. It's not rigid, but we want to be able to contain our flow, right? And if we're just flowing with no parameters, we're going to be all over the place like a balloon letting all the air out. So that's been really helpful for all of my clients, because exactly like you shared, all of my clients come to me and they're like, I like to speak off the cuff. I like to just let it rip. And I'm like, that's great, but we got to give you a little bit of structure. We got to just give you a little bit to contain that. This way we can actually channel your off the cuffness in a way that's the audience is going to resonate with. So that's how I like to approach it. It really integrates both head and heart, and also still holds space for you to go here and have those intuitive off the cuff moments, but in a way that doesn't take you off track.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God. I love this. This is something that I need myself. So
I got you, girl.
Thank you. Awesome. Yes. And something that I really like is how concise your answers are. They are exhaustive. They're detailed, but at the same time, they're concise as well. Like I ask you a question and then your answer is always between 1 and 3 minutes. And this is perfect. This is great for interviews, for podcasts, especially for TV. I mean, on TV, media segments are super short. So you're expected to give an answer maybe in like 20, 30 seconds even, right? But you are a master at this. Have you ever taught anybody how to be a media guest?
I don't know that I've directly taught someone how to be a media guest, but I do help a lot with podcast interviews, which I think is a great, preparation for media placements. But, for my own, I host an event. I've done it live. I've done it virtually. It's called the Thought Leadership Summit. And I have everyone who gets selected to speak, they're only allowed to do an 8-minute talk. Just because of exactly what you're saying, we need to learn how to convey what we want to say in a concise way, right? And to me, concise, you can still bring it down to the depth, but in as few words as possible, whether you have 20 seconds, you have 1 to 2 minutes, or you have 8 minutes for a full talk. So I really like to push the edges of how can we communicate in a way that has depth, but it's as few words as possible, right? I think about all the quotes we see on Instagram. It's like one little line and it punches us right in the heart and we're like, no, and then we share it with all of our friends. We almost want to be walking around like an Instagram quote.
God, Instagram quote personified. Amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
Alexandra, it was so much fun with you. Tell us about the future. What do you have in mind, especially when it comes to your, of course, I know that you have 1,000 different projects and I am going to be involved in a couple of them as well. So this is amazing. And,
Yeah.
but when it comes to public speaking, what is your, let's say your ideal stage, your dream stage that you would like to talk on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually just wrote out my list of dream stages, and there's a few of them. Yeah, there's a few business stages I really want to speak on. One of them is LinkedIn Talent Connect and HubSpot Inbound. Those are two huge business events. We all know HubSpot, we all know LinkedIn, that I've had my eye on for a very long time. And I really want to come in and present this different angle, this different approach to leadership, because I believe even if you don't want to be on a freaking podcast and be in Forbes and be on a big stage, we all have a thought leader in there. We all have a powerful communicator in there that can convey thoughts and ideas in a way that moves people. And I can only imagine, what if we turned sales leaders into thought leaders? What if we turned, C-level execs into thought leaders? Imagine what our leadership would look like. With thought leaders on the external, going out there and furthering the movements, but also thought leaders on the internal, right? Leadership to me would be so powerful and impactful and heart-centered. So I'm just excited to go after these business stages with this really exciting and different way to look at things. I mean, that's how you get selected anyway. So we'll see what happens. I'll let everyone know when it happens, not if, when.
Well, I have something to tell you. You are in luck because a client of mine has already spoken on a LinkedIn stage and she's going to do that again soon. So I'll connect you with her.
Oh my God. Look what happens, people. Speak your damn truth. You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. I connect with that.
Oh,
yeah, that's why I was asking, because I mean, in order to help people, this is like, okay, we know that I do personal PR, but you know that at heart, I'm a global super connector, right? I'm all about connecting, bringing people together, adding value to one another, and it's all about synergy and community and like all of these things. And yes, I think that if you want to add value to somebody's life, you have to know two things mainly. Of course, the more things you know, the better, but at least you have to know what it is that they need and what it is that they want. That's why I always like asking people what their dreams are, because maybe I know somebody that that I can connect them with, that can help them get there, right? So
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. So I will connect you with that friend. Friend. She was a friend first, then she became a client, and she's still a friend. Yes, cool. So good. And let me check the time. Yeah, we have another 10 minutes if it's fine with you.
Yeah, let's keep rocking and rolling. You're asking great questions, girl. So keep it coming.
Thank you. That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you a question that usually is the last question that I ask, but now it's probably not going to be the last one, but maybe we'll open up the conversation in order for me to ask follow-up questions. Now, some people think that this question, Alexandria, is a little bit silly, and sometimes it can be silly, but some people are like, oh my God, it's such a profound question. So I have two different kind of reactions. Let's see what your reaction is. The question is actually very simple. It is, okay, so Alexandria, what is a question that I haven't asked you over the past 36 minutes, but I should have asked you?
Ooh, I don't think this is a silly question at all. We get to feed off each other. That's how this question, resonates with me. There actually is one question that I think would be really great to ask me. What is a thought leader?
So Alexandra, I really have this question for you. I'm super, super excited to pose it to you. So what is actually a thought leader?
Did you come up with that question yourself?
Of course.
You did. Well, great question. So this is, in becoming a thought leader myself, almost, becoming the thought leader of other thought leaders and being immersed in this world, I put my own definition on it. And I realized after I was seeing it with myself, seeing with other people, a thought leader embodies two important things. They stand up and they boldly say the thing that their people are thinking, right? We got to get up and we have to boldly say the thing. We just got to get up and say the thing, right? We kind of like skirt around and we don't really like get to the thing and say the thing. To me, thought leaders, they get up and they just say it. And then a thought leader does something beyond that. They say the thing and then they go courageously do the thing. right? That's where the movement comes into play. They're not just saying it and, living in a book and living in research and living in a textbook. They're going out there and doing it. So to me, those are two vital parts of a thought leader, because to me, a thought leader is someone who doesn't just speak to their work. They're a practitioner of their work. They're getting their hands dirty. They're in the arena. They're messing things up. They're experimenting. They're picking themselves back up. They're falling back down. And to me, that is someone that can truly lead thoughts in the world that's going to create long-lasting change.
Oh my God, this is beautiful. And I love that you mentioned movements as well, because that was actually going to be one of my next questions. So how do you think that thought leadership leads into movements? And do we have to start a movement in order to be thought leaders?
Yeah, great question. So you don't have to, but it's usually a byproduct of you stepping into this thought leader role. So if you don't want to, that's fine, but it's probably going to happen. And you're going to go, oh my goodness, I have this movement on my hands that I didn't even plan for. Because here's the thing, thought leaders, they give people a vision for people to buy into instead of simply a product or service to buy. Yes. And when you're out there giving people a vision and a belief and an identity, right, to be a part of, that right there is the ooey gooey center of a movement. People feel like they're home. They feel like they belong. They feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. So you can't not spark a movement if you tried. If you're being a thought leader and you're out there speaking this message that's reawakening something inside of people, it's going to create this gravitational pull around you. People are going to be hurled towards you, magnetized towards you, and they're going to keep looking to you for leadership. Martin Luther King Jr. is the best example of this. He led with a vision. He got up and said, I have a dream. And he extended his hand out to everyone and said, do you want to be a part of this dream in this world with me? And then what do you know? He sparked a movement that quite literally changed the trajectory of history. So, that's only in one regard. That's more in politics and social justice. There's so many avenues in which we can all spark movements. And that's why I believe there's room for all of us at the table.
Yes. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Yes. And another question that I would like to ask you about movements is, what do you think is the difference between a mission and a movement?
I see them as similar. I think that word mission was almost like version 1. Right? Like, what's our mission? Where are we headed? So to me, I see mission like a mission on a spaceship. Where are we going? Who's on the ship? How are we getting there? So that's great. And I want, that's a great starting point. I want everyone to start there. But to me, a movement, you can even hear it in my voice. I say movement from a deeper place. To me, a movement is one that gives people an identity, right? When someone can identify with something that you're doing in the world, that's it. That's when people start getting tattoos. They put the sticker on their car, right? They have the phone case with your logo on it, right? When you get to that point, you've created something that people can tie to their identity, which is the most sacred thing that we have as a human, like who we are. To me, that's a movement. A mission doesn't quite do that, but a movement does. But a mission can help get you to the movement.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God, I love this. I love this. There's so much gold in all of your...
I know. I'm like, there's like gold coming out of my mouth right now. This is so good. Thank you for asking such beautiful questions. It really is a gift and a talent to be a great interviewer. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I have so much fun because I'm a very curious person. So that's why all of these questions are coming up. But another question that I have, Alexandra, is you just mentioned tattoos and how they relate to identity and to movements. So what are your tattoos about?
Yeah, so these two, I love these two because you can see them. So I'll share this one first. This is the phonetic spelling of first class, like first class on an airplane. And this is a thing between my dad and I. I'm a daddy's girl. And this was at a time when, oh my goodness, I think I was just about to leave for college. And, I've always been confident and I've always been someone who knows what she wants. But it's scary leaving what you've always known for your whole life, leaving the nest. And I was just getting a little nervous and, doubting myself a little bit. And my dad said, Al, you're first class. Never forget that. And oddly, at that time, I had missed a flight going back to college. I was home visiting and I missed a flight and they upgraded me to first class. That's never happened. That was the only time. And I'm texting my dad and he was like, I told you so. He's like, Daddy knows best. You're first class. So this is an incredible reminder of what I'm capable of and that I can be anything and do anything. And just a great tribute to my dad, because we love Rocco Agresta. He's the bomb.com. And then this one is when I moved to Denver, I had never left the East Coast. So this was another big move in my life. And I just wanted to lean in and just lean all the way in and see what happened. So this word says embrace. And to me, it's just embrace life, let go, see what happens, live in the moment. And these are just really great reminders for me when I'm on stage, being the person that I want to be and doing the thing that I want to do.
Exactly. Absolutely. Those tattoos could actually spark a movement as well. The first class movement.
Right. I got two movements, just like wait movements and waiting on my arm. Yeah.
Well, what I do, I don't have any tattoos, but every single day I write something on my hand. You can't see it anymore because I wrote it this morning and then I jumped into the shower, but I write something here and something here as well. For me, these are reminders. They're like connected, to mindset as well. But definitely, I mean, I've never had a tattoo, but sometimes I really consider having a tattoo because tattoos can really give you so much strength in basically every single minute of the day, because they're always available. They're there for you to look at and to remind you of all of your journey and those emotions and those, let's say, and that mindset as well that you build through the years as well, through all of everything that you did, the highs, the lows, and so on. It's all available immediately in just one tattoo, and you can look at it. Right? I love that.
I know this sounds cliche, but I really think our body is a very creative canvas. And if you don't like tattoos, that's okay. But, we can wear earrings or jewelry or dye our hair fun colors or cut it, or there's so many things we could do just with this canvas that we have. And you're exactly right. I use the word tattoo synonymous with the word reminder. I mean, these are just reminders of who I was at this time in my life. And I'm getting chills just saying this. And to be able to look back on my body and just be catapulted to that point in my journey, I don't know. It really adds something for me to my whole squishy human experience on Earth.
God, exactly, because you're totally right. It brings you back to that moment in which you had the tattoo done. And actually that moment was probably a very emotional one. And we're going back to, speaking to the heart, speaking with the heart. We're going full circle to what you said a few minutes ago about actually, connecting to our hearts, of course, our head as well, but especially to our hearts when it comes to public speaking. Yes. We've really come full circle, Alexandria. This has been amazing. Unfortunately, we are approaching the end of our conversation. But before we go, please tell us that you will come back to the Personal PR Show.
Oh, I'll come back when I got some good updates to share with all of you. You'll be seeing me back. Lots of fun things to share. And of course, really great nuggets for all of you to step more into your speaking gift, because we all have one. And it might look different, right? You don't have to be speaking on all these crazy big stages. It might be something cozy and intimate, but my wish for everyone watching this is that you feel a little bit more confident in unleashing that inner thought leader within you.
Exactly. So basically, can we say, Alexandra, that there is a thought leader inside of each one of us?
Absolutely. Resounding yes, 100%.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Perfect. We'll write this down as well as one of your breakthrough ideas as well. One of your sound bites for your thought leadership. Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm using this whole interview. I'm like, oh, these are all little pieces of content and nuggets. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak on your stage, and also just for being such a great host. This was an amazing experience.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you for being such a beautiful and amazing and enriching guest for all of us. And we really can't wait for you to come back to the show. All right. And we'll be in touch about many projects anyway. And guys, I promise I will bring Alexandria very soon back on this stage.
I'll be back.
Yes. with a lot of announcements. Oh, there's a tail here. There's a little cat, as you can see.
I love it. Is it a she or he?
He. There's a she on the sofa, but this is the he.
He's ready to step into his thought leadership.
Exactly. See, it's actually doing deep work. Do you see? It's got like a little iPad. Yes.
He's doing his deep inner work right now.
Exactly. Super. Yeah.
That's funny. I love that. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh my God, yes. So he will be on the show as well, sometime soon.
Love
awesome.
Well, thank you for having me. This was so amazing, and I'm so excited to see where this takes us.
Yes, absolutely. It will take us to a lot of amazing places. All right. Thank you guys for watching us, and I'll see you tomorrow, I think, for another episode of the Personal PR Show. In the meantime, loads of kisses to our Alexandria. Mwah. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Bye.